Sean, this could be another blow to Hillary Clinton's campaign, using her private server to send at least 6 emails, according to the Washington Post, with classified information. Despite her vow back at that March news conference, she never, ever sent classified information over her personal server. Tonight, the Clinton camp is pushing back, insisting to me this was expected, that after the fact, the intel community, as they research all this, go through the documents, are going to decide that some of the information was classified, and they're going to do that after the fact, but that it was not classified when she actually pushed the button and sent it. Obviously, we've heard that claim from the campaign before, and some of their other contentions are now obviously in dispute. Some of parts of her story, going back to that first news conference at the United Nations, have been knocked down. It's going to be sorted out by the FBI's criminal investigation. All of this, from a political standpoint, clearly weighing on her candidacy. A new Washington Post ABC News poll out tonight finds her favorability continues to plummet. 45% of voters surveyed say they have a favorable view of Clinton. 53% have an unfavorable view. And people close to Clinton point out, though, that the same poll didn't have good unfavorable numbers for some of the Republican candidates like Donald Trump, Jeb Bush, Joe Biden as well, on the Democratic side potentially, though clearly she is struggling right now. She's the embattled frontrunner, trying to limit the number of Democratic debates, has been ducking some questions, as you've seen, out on the campaign trail about the email controversy. And tonight, Fox has obtained a copy of a long-forgotten ad from the 2008 campaign when the script was flipped. Clinton was trying to take out a Democratic frontrunner, and Barack Obama was blasting him for ducking debates and, yes, avoiding tough questions. Watch this.
Both Democratic candidates were invited to a televised debate here in Wisconsin. Hillary Clinton has said yes. Barack Obama hasn't. Maybe he'd prefer to give speeches than have to answer questions. Like why Hillary Clinton has the only health care plan that covers every American.
Interesting, because back in that other campaign, Clinton and Obama sparred 19 times in various debates. This time, the Democratic National Committee has only scheduled 4 Democratic debates before the Iowa caucuses, what has Martin O'Malley, one of the other Democratic candidates, particularly upset. The first Democratic debate is not until mid-October. By then, Republicans will have had 2 debates. O'Malley charging that the Democratic Party is trying to protect the frontrunner. Sean.
There was a report. I want to go back to this issue because she clarified her original remarks. I neither sent nor received any classified information. Then it became marked classified information.
Right.
And reports out there that some of the, well, I guess the status might have been changed on some of these emails. What is the latest on that?
Yeah, well, there have been questions raised about whether her staff took some of this intelligence that either was or should have been marked classified in real time, and then was doing either a cut and paste or something else, putting it into new documents where maybe the markings were no longer there. You're right. There have been reports to that effect. I want to stress, as a reporter, it hasn't been proven. There hasn't been evidence to that effect. Obviously, if that turns out to be true, it's going to be a major blow to her campaign, because it will basically rip apart a lot of the arguments she has made. I think the bottom line is that's why the FBI is investigating. We're here on the outside trying to figure out what really happened. They have the criminal investigators who are going to get to the bottom of this.
And the law is pretty clear in saying that it doesn't necessarily have to be marked. For example, there's been talk about satellite images, including North Korea's nuclear arsenal maybe being moved. Wouldn't she have to know, as Secretary of State, that in fact that would be classified and should not be forwarded and should not be in a private email server that we now know is in somebody's bathroom of a mom and pop shop?
2 quick points. Number one, you're right. Republicans in recent days have been making a very strong case that at the very least this is about Hillary Clinton's judgment as Secretary of State, whether this was marked or not. If, in fact, as some of these reports are suggesting, there were satellite images, other images that would reveal some of our intelligence gathering involving North Korea, other important hotspots around the world, her judgment should have been, you would expect, that, hey, this is at the least sensitive, if not classified, and would have handled it differently. I think the second point as well, obviously, is that, look, she's under fire about all of this, and whether there's criminal charges or not, she's taking a big political hit over it, Sean.
All right, Ed Henry, thanks so much for being with us here now with Reaction, author of